Building what I wanna, innovate what I'm gonna. You can hate all you wanna, but you sold your pajama. Now I ain't a prima donna, but I built what I wanna. You can say my vision's wrong, the tune of my song. Broke my thumb, banging to my own drum. Broke my thumb, banging to my own drum. Broke my thumb, banging to my own drum. Who in a clapping, boots I am a strapping, a click click clacking. Hurrah! Bootstrapping in America. Yeah, bootstrapping in America.
Bootstrapping in America.
Welcome to Bootstrapping in America, where we interview some of the hottest entrepreneurs in Chicago and beyond. Our guest today is the co-founder and CEO of Wear Moi, which is a dancewear collection created by former dancers of Le Ballet di Monte Carlo. Their collection includes tops, leotards, shorts, sweaters, leggings, and so much more. Please welcome Christophe Ridet. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for welcoming me.
Absolutely. I am actually really excited to talk about this for a number of reasons. I have 2 out of my 3 daughters that did competitive dance. So let's start with your background and also what attracted you to ballet.
Okay, so I'm a former ballet dancer. I started not as a ballet dancer. I started as a jazz dancer and contemporary, and then I evolved with the technique, and I ended up, the end of my career was with Monte Carlo Ballet.
So so you grew up, though, in France?
Well, I grew up in France in a small home, 60,000 people town, and I was not very good at sport much. I mean, definitely not good at competition sport. And I still wanted to do something which would be physically challenging. I had met a couple of girlfriends which were doing dance, so it seemed like a good thing to do. Started listening to some music. I remember being in my room listening to the Woodstock solo drums from Santana and dancing on this. That was my very first experience about dancing. And one thing went to another, and I ended up with that local school in Bourg-en-Bresse, which is my hometown. And then I went on and on and on and through high school. And I got lucky enough to be hired as a professional dancer just after high school.
Oh, that's impressive. So I have to say this. Je suis très impressionné.
Yeah, that's right.
Do you know what that means, Tony?
No idea.
I am so impressed.
Very good.
Yeah,
very good.
I know. I asked my 13-year-old daughter who takes French because I wanted to make sure that I could say that.
Yes.
But I am so impressed. I think that is is really wonderful. I want to say that you are the first ballet dancer we've had on the show, but you're actually the second because our mayor of the past 8 years was also a ballet dancer.
Yes.
So let's. I would love for you to share what the life of a ballet dancer is like, because a competitive dancer doing it professionally. I mean, it is a unique sort of way of life. Can you share that?
It's a very hard discipline life. A basic day, a usual day, you will start at 10 a.m. It seems like it's a little late, but you start at 10 with a class, so you better be coming up before that, warming up. You will have an hour and a half class. You do this since you're 3 years old all the way till the end of the career. You will have a class every single day. And then you follow up with a rehearsal for the next performance. And usually if you have a performance in the evening, you would maybe stop rehearsing by 4 p.m. and then you will have the performance at 7. I remember Elisabeth, which had a longer career, my wife, which had a longer career than myself, was sometime have to do 7 performances per week. So no breaks or anything back in London. So it's a very, very demanding kind of a career.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And the physical fitness aspect. I mean, there's no going out to the bars.
No. The diet is super important too. Yeah, very demanding, very short career too. I mean, I had to stop when I was 26. Elisabeth retired when she was 30 years old. Very, very seldom you end up dancing after you're 40 years old.
Oh, interesting. So talking about Elisabeth.
Yeah.
So where did you first meet her? How did you meet her? Because you guys are co-founders working with each other every day.
Yes.
And I want to talk about that a little bit too. But where did you meet her?
We met in Monte Carlo, actually, in 1989. So 30 years ago. And we got together while we were touring in Moscow, actually.
Okay.
And so we met there, and then we actually married in Seattle in 1992. Actually, she actually had a contract with Pacific Northwest Ballet, which is one of the major ballet company in the U.S. And that's when I really started playing around with making leotards, basically.
Well, so let's talk about that. How did that come about? Because from what I saw, you literally were starting with.
We started from scratch. There were nothing. There were a workshop that they were offering to dancers in Monte Carlo. People wanted to try on something else, to do a choreography. We were asked to do the costumes as well, or at least design the costumes. The person who was head of costume in Monte Carlo was too busy. He said, well, I can't do your costume, but you're more than welcome to come to the costume shop and do the costume yourself. I actually enjoy doing the costume myself much better than the choreography. So that's how it started. Then Elisabeth told me, well, if you can make a unitard for a workshop, why don't you make a leotard for everyday class? So that's what I did. I did one leotard under supervision. I mean, she designed the leotard, she worn it. Then her friends come say, where did you get that? Christophe did it, and that's how it started.
Oh, it really sounds like your wife should be in here, though, and not you. That's what it sounds like to me.
She is here.
The combo.
Right.
So one of the things, did you do it by sewing machine, though,
right?
You used sewing machine. It wasn't like stitched by hand.
No. You can't stretch fabric by hand.
Yeah.
It will just, that won't work. And with machine, it's more of a technical machine. It's 4-thread sewing machine with Lycra. The good thing with Lycra, if you haven't been trained into sewing, is that you can stretch the fabric sometime when it doesn't really match the things. And
it's hard to work with. It's
a lot of people say that because that's the only thing I did. I was very, very comfortable working with stretch fabric, better than actually stiff fabric.
Yeah. So you and your wife came together to start creating these amazing pieces. I'm telling you, this is like my weekend wear, and the quality of this is outstanding. So talk a little bit about some of the clothes that you guys create now. And it's been 27 years?
Yeah, 27 years now.
Since you started the company, and I still want to talk about some of those things. But let's talk about what you offer? Like
Okay.
all the different lines.
Yeah, so we offer a whole range of clothing. Primarily we do leotards because that's what ballet dancers wears. So we would have stuff like this, which are very fashionable,
It's beautiful.
printed, and that will appeal more to the more advanced dancer. But we also do more basic leotards for children's. Our sizing start from age 2 to 4 years old, all the way to size 12, 14, and then we go extra soft, extra small, medium, and large. We also do shoes. So we do point shoes, we do soft shoes, we do tights, we do skirts, and obviously we do also jackets. We have a range of activewear that we've been starting developing too.
And so the activewear, so that's like, it can be everyday wear, right? I mean, people wear that.
Yes, even the bodice also can be everyday wear.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's where we try to evolve, is trying to see how much of the general public we could have buying or wearing our clothing.
Yeah, sure. So I think Lululemon better watch out for you.
we're obviously. I mean, it's. I actually contacted Chip Wilson when I on LinkedIn, and because obviously, yes, you definitely. I look up to Lululemon.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're doing it the other way around, but I definitely look up.
Well, they
to
should
them.
be. So when you also have dancewear for men.
Yes, we do dancewear for men. Actually, we're probably the leaders worldwide about what we do for men's. I mean, myself being a former ballet dancer, the market is very small for men's. But I mean, being a men ballet dancer, I've always been frustrated about the limited offer that there were on the market. So we have a extensive range of clothing for the men's.
That's wonderful. And I loved the way that you phrased this, because we kind of use this phrase here too. It's the know-how of dancers. So by dancers for dancers.
Yes.
We often say by traders for
Right, for
traders.
traders.
And it is something that is so important, because you know what you need. And you know what aspects of the clothing is important.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. And more than that, and I think you will agree with that, is that we have a degrees of expectation which is very, very high. Being former ballet dancers, everything that we do, every leotard, the store, every design has to be as perfect as what we were doing as professional dancers.
Right.
And that's also set the tone for everything we do.
And so you have spent your whole career, dancing, and then when you jumped in to start the business, like, how did you know how to run a business?
I didn't.
Right.
I've learned a lot of trial and error, and that's probably also our dance background, which taught us to work hard, make mistakes, go down, step up, and do it again, and do it again, and do it again. I'm passionate about business. I love talking about business with other people. Any business interests me, so I definitely have something about it. And at the same time, Elisabeth is very strong in the design, very strong in the fashion, even though we have a 50-50 roles in terms of strategy. Every decision we take them together. But then when it comes to how we run the business, she will be more about the image, about the brand. She'll be careful. She'll make sure that everything that we show, everything that being seen is going to be perfect. And on my end, I'm making sure that I'm able to do what she would like to have. So that's why we, set up our own factory. This is why we've opened our store. I've never opened a factory before, never opened a store, but I managed to have it done for her.
Oh, see, I love that. So
She makes sure you don't mess up. Is basically what you're saying, right?
Exactly.
get
You're
it.
right too.
I
Yes,
know.
yes.
I know. I got one of those. It's true.
I like the way you guys think. So first of all, I think that's painting a wonderful picture of how the two of you work together. I think that's incredibly important. And I want to talk about the factory here in a second. But this last point about you guys working together, it's, so you're married and you are working together. Is that hard?
No, I wouldn't say it's hard. It's obviously we talk about business at home, and we also we have 2 kids that we're bringing up too.
Are they dancers?
No, we don't want them. We want them to have serious job. No. But we definitely make sure that they know what hard working means, and having goals early in your life. I think it's important too. Challenging them, that's important as well.
Right.
But no, I don't think it's hard. When you start understanding that there is things that I do super well, she does super well, and we don't interfere on that, and when also you understand that when we don't agree on something, there's a reason why we're not agreeing on something, and it's not about me being right or her being wrong or vice versa. We have to find a common ground there, and we've realized that most of the mistakes we've made at one point were because at one point we were in a disagreement, and one of us actually gave up on the decision. At the same time, I think that being together, for better and worse, mean that we've been going through difficult time with the company, and we survived because we were together. And more than once, I've always said to Elisabeth, if I had been on my own at one point in time with the company, I don't think I would have been able to overcome the difficulties.
Oh, I love that, because it is partnership. You are doubly strong, right?
Yes.
If you stick together and figure out a common ground. I think that is so key.
Yeah.
And that's key not only for husband and wife, but for just partners in general.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So,
I mean, she's my best business partner I've ever had. Yeah.
There
She's
you go.
your only one you've ever had, correct?
Well, no, dance. He's had dance partners probably, right?
Yeah. Business partner that had some before, so I understand also what.
So when it came to the name, Wear Moi, I love that. So who came up with the name?
I came up with the name, and the reason why I came up with that name is that I was so insecure about the potential of what we were making at the time. I mean, I started making leotards before the brand name was invented. And I just thought, well, we got to have a subliminal message saying, oh, please buy my stuff. So it was like, oh, wear me or porte moi. And at the time, when I was explaining to you that I was making costume at the workshop in Monte Carlo, the head of costume became a super good friend of mine. He was American. So every time I would come up to that workshops and working, I would be speaking in English and drinking, coffee. And that was also for me a way of saying, well, I think this is going to make me being able to bring the two cultures together.
I love that. That is the perfect segue into what is happening today here in Chicago. And so, so I'm going to let you unveil what is happening here.
Yeah, so tonight, already today from 10 to 4 to the public, and then we have a private session afterwards. We're doing the grand opening of the store. So we had been in soft opening since end of February, and we're finally officially opening our store.
Grand opening right here in Chicago. So I read an article that you had mentioned, because I have to ask the question, why did you come to Chicago? Why did you choose Chicago, right? And I read that you had said you look at it as the big little city.
Yes.
And so share with me a little bit, with us and our viewers, what your viewpoint is on that, like why you said that.
Yeah, first of all, the choice was really a family choice. We felt that, once we made a decision of moving to the US, as I explained, challenging our kids, giving them different opportunities in life. Chicago ended up being the best city for us. It's got everything that is needed when you want to, bring up your family. From the perception of big little city, I feel that because of that lakefront, that's kind of keep that city on a reasonable sizing, because there's always the lake to remind you that no matter how big you are, this is there and this is strong. And it's easy to see which part where you are, north, south, and the west. It's not too complicated. And I think that the community, especially in the dance community is not that spread out. So we feel that it's probably going to take us a couple of years before we're starting getting really well known, but by then we will be able to be really established locally. So that's what's
strong
important.
culture, strong community.
Yes.
And so your factory is also on the water, right? Or close
Well, yes,
by,
you're right. I mean, Sfax in Tunisia is by the water. It's a city in Tunisia. Tunisia is known for its tourism. There's a lot of beautiful beaches, but Sfax is where most of the industry, most of the manufacturing industry is located in Tunisia, and Tunisia's got a great connection with France in terms of manufacturing clothing, which is why we're there.
Oh, perfect. So you're in France. You're in, how do you say it?
Tunisia.
Tunisia. And then you're in Chicago.
Yes, exactly.
But I also saw that, so you're in like 60 countries and like 70 retail stores.
Yeah,
so,
700 the retail store, yeah.
Again, je suis très impressionné.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
I know, I've been practicing for the last 30 minutes.
I like it.
But it's so right now, what's sort of the plan? Is it more online expansion after Chicago, or are you thinking of other stores throughout?
It's multi-channel. So basically, we our business is really evenly spread between the U.S. or America, Europe, and Asia. Okay. Our strategy now is really reaching out to the consumer, to the end users, which is really why that flagship store is so important to us after 25 years or 27 years of being sold by multi-brand, independent dancewear stores. So suddenly people have the chance to see the whole collection and really the way we want to stage it. Okay, and we've seen actually since we've opened that store a spike in the sales online. Because I believe that subconsciously customers now going online, looking at our beautiful website, know that it's for real. It's not just digital. There is an experience there. Right. So we're going to keep gearing on this. We hope to be able to open other flagship store either in the US or elsewhere. We'll see where the opportunities are. And at the same time, reinforcing our relationship with our distributors because we can't be everywhere on our own either.
Right. That's so true. So I'd love for you to share sort of, you touched on this a little bit with you and your wife, how you had gone through maybe some challenges. Maybe share one challenge that you guys ran into and how you got through that. Because I think as entrepreneurs, there are a lot of ups and downs. Yeah. And sort of understanding how you rose up and above beyond that is important.
When we decided to open that factory back in 2010, we set up that factory 3 months before the revolution in Tunisia. So suddenly, after investing quite a big amount of money into that factory, we're finally thinking, what's going to happen next? I mean, the backup we were expecting from financial institutions were no longer there because suddenly they were like, why did you make that decision of opening up your factory right where there's a revolution, which was not expected. I mean, the revolution lasted only 1 week, okay? And since then it's been going very well. So right after that, the tsunami in Japan happened. And at the time, 15% of our business was in Japan. So yes, the 2010, 2011 years was really a very bad year for us. And basically, at one point, the only thing I had in my mind was, well, as long as you're alive, that means you can go on.
Sure.
And I was really feeling that I was to the bone. And that's when I was telling you about being a dancer, helping a lot. Because the two things we cared about was being physically fit. That, I made sure that I was always sleeping well, that I had my head clear. And the second thing was that with Elisabeth, we were like this all the time. And that's what helped us coming through this. The good thing about that is that probably 3 months later, we got contacted by the biggest dancewear mail order company in the world, who happens to be located in California. They placed a huge order. I asked them to spend 50% upfront, and we were going on
that's
again.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Duration, you just had to stick around.
It's really the resilience and making sure that
Yeah.
As long as you're capable, that doesn't the game is not over. Never. And I personally think that as an entrepreneur, you have to be like an athlete, high competition, and that's what you need to do. If you're not careful about how you behave, at the end of the day, I don't think you can really properly run your business.
Yeah, I totally agree. Well, where can somebody find out more about Wear Moi?
Okay, well, wearmoi.com, okay, www.wearmoi.com, and otherwise go to 3352 North Broadway, which is in East Lakeview, Roscoe and Broadway, to see the collection, to see all of our garments, open 7 days a week from 10 to 5.
Well, Christophe, again, welcome to Chicago. We are so happy to have you here.
Thank you very much.
Wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to take a quick 90-second break. We're going to come back. We got Liz and Jenny next. This is Taste Trade Live.